Alright, what's going on, guys? So, it is absolutely freezing cold here. I have the heater going. So what I got is the firewall is in. I have to make a part that goes along the top side here and ties the top in, but the whole side, bottom section is. Then I'm doing this part later. I think I'm going to do something different there. But I also painted everything with PR15. That's immediately where the engine's going to be in the way of. I still have to do this stuff up here, but I'm going to end up welding 2 bars that come around here, because this section here I'm going to cut out. This whole, you can see where the spot welds hold it on. I'm going to cut this out, put 2 bars in, and then my front strut tower supports, which I don't really need, I just kind of want them, are going to run over top and then tie into the A-pillar post deal in the cage. So that way the rear section of the car will be tied into the cage and the front section. So this car will pretty much be as stiff as it could probably ever be. So what I need to do is, the transmission is obviously bolted up. What I need to do is I need to get the blanket on it, and it will these straps here, these hold the transmission blanket in place forward and back on the transmission, so I need to get those on there. But I also have the torque converter in, and what I need to do is get the bolts in place, make sure that has the right spacing and everything that I want, and then I have to get my hoist out, figure out a way to get this whole deal on the hoist that makes sense. I think what I'm also going to do is, right now I got the car sitting on these rolling, just honestly just like floor roller deals. So I'm going to jack the car up and take those out so it'll sit down as far as I can get it. I'm also going to take the front bumper off, and actually the original exhaust for the car is still underneath it. I'm going to cut that off, and I should be ready to go to sling the thing in there. I have to put the engine mounts back on, and that's it. So I guess the first things first is I want to deal with the torque converter bolts, and once that's done I will cut the exhaust, take the bumper off, and yeah, so let's get to it. Alright, so I got the car back down on the ground with the stands out. I got the engine mounts on it, trans blanket on. I'm gonna lift it with this carb plate. Hopefully that's not an issue. I'm probably gonna zip tie. This is the oil pressure gauge line, and then that's the trans fluid level dipstick. Other than that, the plan is to get this up over this front bar here, and then lift the back of it with this floor jack. And I got one of the dollies underneath there in case I need it to help roll this thing back. But I also cut the exhaust off, cut the old trans cooler lines from all the OE stuff, and yeah, so I'm gonna try to swing this thing in there, and I'll get back with you guys. Alright guys, so the engine's in. I had to do a couple of modifications. So when I got the hoist up here, I thought I had enough clearance for the main arm that holds onto the lift plate to clear past the front. I had it on the second stop. There's 4 stops in total, but I had this issue before, because this is like the second or third time I've had this engine in and out of this chassis before. But I thought it was good. I couldn't remember what hole it was on, so I put it right in the middle, and it wasn't far enough. So what I ended up doing is I kind of get mad, so I cut these that main bar that holds the turbo on, and not that I got mad, but I got frustrated and had a better idea for it. So what I'm going to do is how usually door bars in the cage will have the swing out hinges on them. I'm going to do that on this front bar here, and just that way I'll have a easy way to swing this out and still have plenty of room and clearance. I cut the bottom former radiator support as well, and I'm going to use these to mount the radiator I'm going to use. It's not OEM. It's actually going to lay forward rather than tilted back, but so I can still use those as good mounting points. It was pretty flawless, went in good. I still got to put in the transmission crossmember. That's another thing I had to take out. I probably would have been able to keep it on. I took it off before I cut this bar, and then after I took it off, so I could move the whole engine transmission back further. But once I got this off, I could have probably left it on and it would have been fine. So I think the plan going forward is to, I'm still on the fence whether I want to take these out. I would really like to, because it takes some weight out, and I think it looks cooler. But then water, if I ever have this thing in a rainstorm, I have no idea if it ever will see rain again. But if these are left open, so stuff can come up in there. But I guess it's the same idea with anything else in here. I got the engine diaper I need to put on. And I think that's about it up here. Really, I'm just doing final assembly now. I still got to do that little area in the firewall, but that's pretty much it. I got the S5 back in here, and yeah, I think we're going to call it quits for this weekend, and we got the engine trans in. Super stoked, guys.